Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
And what is up, you guys? The Mets' modest 2-game winning streak comes to an end, unfortunately, as they are put in a couple of early holes, courtesy of just another brutal start from David Peterson, the guy that I personally believed was going to come forward, step up, and become the ace of this Mets rotation during spring training of this year. I really believed that David Peterson was going to take that next step forward. And what that means is not only pitching really well for the first half, which is what Peterson was able to do as he got his first career All-Star nod, but to be able to do it then throughout the second half and for an entire complete season and not just in small spurts. And unfortunately, David Peterson has just been a completely different pitcher since the All-Star break. He has been absolutely brutal as the Padres immediately jump on him for a run in the first inning. Pete Alonso able to do well, hit a solo bomb to tie it in the bottom half, and Peterson goes right back out there. Can't have a shutdown inning as he gives up another run as the Padres go ahead 2-1. They get a solo homer from Marte to tie things up 2 apiece. And then once again, Peterson running into trouble there in the 5th inning. And it all starts in a very annoying, ugly fashion that I will get into more as we continue here on the stream. But in the end, it is a 7-4 loss. The Mets try to fight and claw their way back into this one. They get solo home runs from Juan Soto, from Francisco Alvarez to inch them closer and make it 6-4. They very nearly get a game-tying opposite field homer from Soto, which would have been his second. I mean, we're talking 2 or 3 feet to the left of the left field foul pole. I mean, just so close to tying this game at 6. And unfortunately, the Mets do fall short in this one, 7-4. So it's a tough one for sure. We're going to go in through it all, but obviously David Peterson really spitting the bit here tonight in a very important game, a very important series, obviously, for the Mets right now. Every game is of the utmost importance, but this would have been a really good one to have to at least ensure that they will take this series from San Diego and win at a minimum 2 out of 3 heading into the afternoon finale tomorrow with Jonah Tong on the mound. And unfortunately, the Mets unable to do that. Guys, what is up? I'm Tony Metro. Daily Mets content, post-game recap after every Mets game right here on my channel. Be sure to subscribe if you are not already. Go ahead, leave this video a like if you haven't done that. Really appreciate it. And you can follow me on all the other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Links to all those are in the description of this video down below. Let's go to the chat. Armand, this loss falls on Peterson. Yep, Armand, no one else is to blame for this loss. Obviously, Stanek gives up that solo shot there in the bottom, or the top of the 9th. Kind of changes the complexion of the bottom of the 9th, where the Mets do end up getting the tying run to the plate in Juan Soto, who unfortunately hits the ball right back to the pitcher, and he's able to just toss it on over to first. If that were the Mets on the mound, obviously, you know how that would have went. It bounced 15 feet off of our pitcher and in the right field, and 2 runs would have come home to score. But because we're the Mets, it bounces right into his glove, just nestles in there, and that's the final out. But this loss goes on David Peterson without a doubt. There is no other culprit. Peterson has been brutal, guys. Absolutely brutal in the second half. So we know since August 6th, his ERA is above 6. But how about this for you? His last 4 starts, David Peterson has 21 earned runs in 17 1/3 innings pitched. Peterson is killing this team just as much as the other veteran starters. In fact, he actually may be the worst of them right now. I mean, even Kodai Senga wasn't getting roughed up for 5, 6, 7 runs like David Peterson has been lately. You go back to his start a little while ago against the Marlins on that Saturday, where he gave up 8 earned runs in 2 innings, goes out, gives up 4 runs the next time out. Then tonight gives up 6 runs. And that particular inning, my goodness, the 5th was so frustrated. I'll tell you why I feel that way, and I'm sure many of you will agree. Elvin Solano, there's no clutch gene in this team's DNA. SMH. You know, I will give the Mets some credit. I like that they showed a little bit of fight there. I like that they were able to at least chip away, give themselves a shot. You get the homer from Soto. You get the homer from Francisco Alvarez there in the 7th. Unfortunately, they couldn't cash in, even with Cedric Mullins on second after drawing a walk following Alvarez. You have Lindor unable to do anything. Soto nearly hits that home run that just goes foul. He ends up taking strike 3 from Mason Miller. I mean, just a perfect slider on the outside corner. Pete Alonso really poor at bat there. And I'm not going to harp on Pete because obviously he had a solo homer earlier in the game and another base hit, but that was a pretty tough at bat to watch from Pete. Watched 2 sliders right down the middle and then decided to chase one on the outer half of the plate. But yes, just a frustrating game. I wouldn't say this team has no clutch DNA, but they definitely struggled to build on momentum. You know, it would have been nice to see them now put 3 together. Yesterday was awesome to see. It was one of those games where you felt comfortable basically the entire way because of the 5-run first inning. And that was really important because obviously that was a big win on Sunday, the walk-off. You were afraid of there being a letdown, especially with the off day on Monday. The Mets didn't have that yesterday, and you would have liked to see them continue and carry it into today. Unfortunately, it's hard to when you give up a grand slam, and that's exactly what David Peterson did. More on that in just a bit. Jose Lopez Moya. Well, Peterson did it again. Inconsistent. You can't put on base the leadoff batter in any inning. There you go. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Or Armand, if the Mets make the playoffs, just let the kids start the games and put the vets in the bullpen. I mean, this is ridiculous. Are we going to have to piggyback all of the veterans at this point? I mean, we did it last night with Sean Manaea and with Clay Holmes, and it worked. But tonight, David Peterson with a brutal start. 5 innings, 6 runs, a run in the first inning. They tie that game up. The very next half inning gives it right back. The Mets tie it again 2-2 on the Starling Marte home run. Peterson gets into the jam there in the 5th inning, and it's just absolutely brutal. And we're about to talk about it real quick. Absol 0-65 down after 8 innings. The trend continues. It's going to take like the most dramatic of all 8th inning, 9th inning comebacks for this team to finally break through. I don't see how else it can happen. I mean, if they make the playoffs, maybe that's when the Mets finally get their first win when trailing entering the 9th inning, because it is unbelievable that they are 0-65 in those spots. The only team in the league without a win after entering the 9th inning trailing. I mean, it's just inexcusable. Jose says Tom Seaver used to say that it was important for a starter to get the final strike in the first out in an inning. Well, he's no Tom Seaver. Well, I think no one ever compared David Peterson to Tom Seaver. That is for sure. But yeah, man, momentum. People don't want to believe in momentum in baseball. It is 100% a thing. And these veteran pitchers have not been giving it to the Mets, especially David Peterson lately. 2 Cats. Peterson lost this game single-handedly. Still, only team with 0 comebacks in the 9th. Pathetic. I mean, it was looking like they might have a shot there, man. When they made it 6-4, when Cedric Mullins walked, stole second, top of the order due up, I thought they might have a chance. Unfortunately, Lindor popped up, Soto struck out, and Pete struck out. So just really rough there in the 7th. And then the 8th, really nothing to do there. In the 9th, the comeback little effort there. You get 1st and 3rd, but unfortunately, Soto can't make it happen. Hits that line drive right off the closer, Suarez. But Absol Mets can't win more than 2 games in a row. Last time they won 3 in a row was in August versus the Phillies. This team won't win in the playoffs like this, no doubt. You got to be able to streak. To be fair, we know this is the Padres. This is one of the better teams in not only the National League, but in all of Major League Baseball. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, the Mets are terrible again because they couldn't win 3 in a row, but it would have been nice to see them be able to compete with one of the teams that they are trailing in the standings, one of their potential playoff matchups if they should make it that far. And I wouldn't say they didn't compete, but hey, they took us for all 3 games in San Diego. I would have loved to see the Mets take the first 2 and at the very least threaten the sweep tomorrow. But unfortunately not the case. And again, as many of you are saying here in the chat, it falls on David Peterson. Let's get into that 5th inning. And it's very frustrating because Starling Marte had just tied the game at 2 apiece with his solo home run. It is the 9-hitter, Sheets, due up to lead off the 5th. He starts with an 0-2 count, and Peterson ends up plunking him, puts the leadoff runner aboard in the top of the 5th, the 9-hitter. You cannot walk the 9-hitter. You most certainly cannot hit him with a pitch to lead off the inning. And then he goes to Fernando Tatis. He ends up walking him after having a 2-strike count. Now it's 1st and 2nd, nobody out. And then, of course, it's Luis Arraez laying down a perfect bunt single to load the bases. Manny Machado comes up. He gets into a 3-1 count, gets to 3-2, and Peterson just couldn't put him away. He just does not have a put away pitch as he hangs an absolute slider right down the middle that Manny crushes, and no doubter of. I mean, again, look at the numbers. Peterson, over his last 17 and a third innings pitched, has given up 21 earned runs. 21 earned runs in his last 4 starts. I mean, it's just inexcusable. The final line on him today: 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, just 1 strikeout. He does not have that put away pitch. Since August 6th, a 7.59 ERA. That 5th inning was just so frustrating for it to start the way that it did. Again, hitting the 9 batter with a pitch, walking Tatis after having 2 strikes on him, getting the bunt single from a rise. Okay, it happens, I guess, because the Mets infield was back. And then, of course, hanging a slider to Manny Machado on a 3-2 count. He's got to be better than this. And this is something I talked on one of my YouTube shorts here recently. He has a 55.8% left on base percentage. That is way too low if you want to be a good big league starter. It is way too high compared to where it was in the first half of the season for David Peterson. He gets into these jams and he just doesn't have that put away pitch. He just doesn't seem to have that ability to put an inning to bed, to put a batter down, and it has come back to bite him and the Mets more often than not. So there's my rant for the day. Obviously, David Peterson is catching the heat for this game. Let's see. 2 Cats. Peterson lost this game single-handedly. I'm sorry, you already said that, or I already read that one. Absol, Mets can't win more than 2 games in a row. I read that one too. 2 Cats. The Mets' 2-game winning streak has come to an end. 2-game winning streak. Oh boy, yeah, it was nice, right? Absol, Alvarez still can't catch behind the plate. He's got to lead the league in pass balls. Yeah, Alvi has not been super sharp behind the plate this year. Let's be honest, a lot of balls where he's either losing it on the transfer, or if it's deflecting off of his glove, but he has been hitting pretty well lately. Couple knocks recently. Obviously, the home run today had another ball that he charged to right field as well. So he's swinging the bat well. He's seeing the ball pretty well at the plate. So defensively, hasn't been perfect, but definitely has been putting some good swings on the baseball of late for Francisco Alvarez. And of course, we know Luis Torrens was activated today as well. So maybe the Mets end up getting him into some of these games as well now here down the stretch. 2 Cats says Vientos runs like an elephant. Man, Vientos is the slowest dude of all time. I mean, for how big he is, how just athletic Mark Vientos looks, my goodness, he is not very fleet of foot. He's big dude, man. You would think he'd have long strides. Not the case. He is closer to the Manny Machado mold than he is to, say, a Kyle Tucker kind of guy, who I would guess are pretty comparative in terms of their stature. But yeah, Vientos not the fastest dude on the bases. John Reston, it seems like it's going to be a hurdle for this team to win 81 games. Just no consistency. I hear you, John. And, the only thing I will say, guys, is this is the Padres, okay? This is not like we just got skunked by the Athletics or by the Angels or the Twins. This is a team that arguably is top 5 in not just the National League, but in all of baseball. The Mets don't have time to make excuses, though, unfortunately. They need to win every single game possible because that is the position that they have put themselves in, and that is why it is very frustrating. We would have liked to get 3 in a row here, especially with the Reds winning, with the Giants beating the Diamondbacks, although, of course, we know that's kind of a double-edged sword, pick your poison in that one. But yeah, it would have been nice to win 3 in a row. I'm not going to just simply say they're done again, they suck again, and all of that. But, the Padres are a good team. But, man, it's tough to overcome when your starting pitcher only gives you 5 innings, gives up 6 runs, including a grand slam. Not many teams are going to come back and win that. Unless you're the Padres, which they did against us out in San Diego. You remember that? Tomorrow's starter for them, Dylan Cease, giving up a grand slam to Mark Vientos, only for the Mets bullpen and Frankie Montas to cough that game up. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. Jose Lopez, I have a bad and funny feeling that tomorrow's game might be a loss by Tong. And it would have been nice to win this game, like I said, because you guarantee that you're going to win this series here against San Diego. And I think you also take a lot of pressure off Tong tomorrow. It's an afternoon game. The park's probably not going to be very filled on a Thursday in September. You already took 2 out of 3. Just go out there and have fun, kid. That's exactly what my message would have been to Jonah Tong tomorrow if I'm Mendoza. And it still probably will be the message to the 22-year-old, but now it's in the back of his head. Damn, We just had a rough outing from Peterson yesterday. We lost. Playoffs are definitely still in the balance. We got to win as many games as possible. It's not as much of a comfortable situation now. So I totally hear you there, Jose. That is why I really, really wanted this win. Armand, the Padres ranked 29th in team home runs. And of course, they win by hitting a grand slam because we're the Mets, man. Because we're the Mets. That is what happens to us. Teams come in, they don't do anything particularly well, and they do that exact thing well against the Mets every time. I mean, it is like just chalk for this team. Always getting just nickel and dime by other teams. I mean, a couple soft contact hits there to get that second run in the second for the Padres. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Meanwhile, the Mets come back in the bottom of the second. They ripped the cover off the ball. Really impressive at-bats against Nick Pivetta today. But unfortunately, not a lot to show for it. I mean, they chase him after 4 2/3 in this game. They get 3 runs off of him. But unfortunately, they run into the buzzsaw that is the Padres bullpen. And yeah, it's the strength of this team, and it was on full display. I mean, they go to Mason Miller for the final 2 outs there of the 7th, and then for the 8th inning, the Mets can't do anything against him. And then they go to Suarez there for the 9th, and the rally falls short. So very frustrating for sure. Jose, I am so frustrated. He says that. I'm going to try to go to sleep. Good night, Jose. 2 Cats, been tough for Albie because he's been hit by so many pitches and so many injuries. And if you saw, he was wearing the elbow protector on his left arm here today. So he was like, yeah, I'm not letting that happen again. But impressive that he could go down writhing in pain in the batter's box after getting plunked on the tricep elbow area last night in the bottom of the 8th inning, back in the lineup today and hits a home run. And not only that, but like I said, also served the ball into right field. I believe in that second inning that he roped, it just was right at Tatis Jr., unfortunately, and that was the final out of that inning. But Alvy's definitely been swinging a pretty good bat lately, so really, really happy to see that, and that, of course, he's okay from getting plunked last night. John Reston said Soto should be swinging with 2 strikes. What do you mean? Well, I mean, he got fooled on that one. You're talking about in the 7th inning when he got that slider. I mean, dude, this is Mason Miller who can ramp it up to 103 or throw you a backdoor 90-mile-per-hour slider, and that is exactly what he did to Juan Soto. I mean, yeah, it sucks. It's never fun to watch a called third strike. We know as Mets fans, 2006, Carlos Beltran, that ring a bell. But, I mean, sometimes you got to tip the cap, and Mason Miller is one of, if not the best relief pitcher in Major League Baseball. So tough to really get on Juan Soto for that, especially when he came between a pussy hair of freaking tying this game with the 2-run homer down the left field line. I mean, only freaking us. Only us. You know, if that's the Mets pitching, that ball is hitting the foul pole. But because it's us hitting and we're trying to stage this miraculous comeback here, it goes foul by 2 freaking feet. Just brutal. Armand, I'll be at the game tomorrow. Armand, good luck, my man. I hope that they get a W for tomorrow. Please be the good luck charm for the Mets tomorrow. Would be really, really sweet to get 2 out of 3 from the Padres as we continue this stretch run here. Of course, we got the Nationals to close out the home slate this weekend. Then they hit the road, Chicago and Miami to round out the season. So I hope you have a good time, Armand. Where are your seats at? Let us know if you're comfortable saying that, and hopefully you have a great time and they do get the W for you. Absol, so far the Mets are 2-4 since I made my 6-10 prediction for the Mets in their last 16. Absol, man, I am getting really irritated with you. You got to stop being right, man. You are really starting to irritate me with this 6-10 prediction, man. Come on. Come on. You got to have some faith. You got to believe. Come on. It ain't over. It ain't over, man. I'm trying to be as positive as I can. And you know why? Because I saw a little bit of fight out of this team today. They didn't throw in the towel after they gave up the grand slam like I expected. I'm not going to lie. I was watching on my phone there, and I just kind of flipped it off. I just was like, that's it. Okay, they're going to lose. And then I checked back in like 10 minutes later. They're up to the plate. They get the home run there from Soto, make it 6-3. And I'm like, all right, we're back. We're back. We're still in this game. So they showed some fight in this one today. Again, they ran into the buzzsaw that is the Padres lineup. I'm not giving up on this team. If they win tomorrow's game, I think it entirely changes the way that you view the Mets right now. If they win 2 out of 3 against the Padres, where they've been bashing home runs all around Citi Field this series, I think you're going to feel a lot better, especially if they continue and play well against the Nationals. But again, lots to be done, lots to see still. Gotta see it before I can believe it, but I'm gonna just try to keep the faith here and will them to the playoffs, hopefully. Let's see. John Rest or Armand Anthony DeComo just tweeted this quote from Soto: "We've got to get going today. We can't wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be too late." Yeah. I mean, we all know that, and they've been saying that for a while. And I will say this, again, this didn't look like the same lethargic kind of Mets that we saw for the majority of that 8-game losing streak. So I give them credit, and that's why maybe I'm a little bit more upbeat right now than I was in the 8-game losing streak, or like than you would imagine after a loss where we just lost the game to the Reds and we lost the game to the Giants in the standings today, because I saw a little bit more fight. I saw a little more energy from this team today, and there's no moral victories in sports, in my opinion, and especially not given what position that the Mets are in right now, where they have to win every single game the rest of the way. But I saw a little bit more than what I had been seeing for the last couple of weeks here, and so I am encouraged. I do feel like there is some energy in these guys. I just think they ran into a good team in the Padres, and that is what the Padres are. They are ahead of us in the standings for a reason. They are one of the best teams in Major League Baseball, and they could have easily sat on their hands in the bottom of the 5th inning and given up and not continued to try and fight back like they have many times this year, or at least it appears that way. And instead, couple home runs, couple rallies, and unfortunately, they come up a little bit short. It takes the Padres using one of the best relievers in baseball to get 5 outs in the 7th and 8th inning for them to preserve this game. And then, of course, getting a home run off of Ryan Stanek in the 9th inning to give them a little more of a cushion. But anyway, I'm not totally discouraged about it just this moment. Big Papa, hopefully Tong has become tight with McLean and Sproul and gets tips on how to improve on the mound. I'm not giving up on Tong. I'm not giving up on Tong either, no matter how tomorrow goes. Maybe for this season, though, if he does not have a good start tomorrow, I say, okay, that's it. Thank you. It was nice to see what Tong has. He's not ready. And if that's the case, okay. That's fine. He'll probably start next year in AAA, no matter what, unless he has some miraculous, crazy run here down the stretch and then into the playoffs. But no, I would not give up on him, and I hope he does have a good start, and I hope he feels comfortable tomorrow. Like I said, that is why I felt like getting the win tonight was huge. It would have taken a lot of that pressure off of Tong going into the rubber game of tomorrow afternoon's game. Guys, go ahead, leave this video a like if you have not already. Really appreciate that. Go ahead and do that right now. Helps the channel out immensely. Gets more Mets fans like yourselves here, so really appreciate you guys. You have helped me grow this channel so much exponentially since the season began, really back in spring training in February when I kind of picked things back up here on my channel. So thank you to you guys for all of that. Buzz Bass, Mets are cursed. Come on, man, don't say that yet. I mean, yes, in the moment when you look at the foul ball from Soto that just goes inches short, or I'm sorry, inches foul. Yes, it kind of feels that way, but we've seen these ones before, man. We're keeping the energy positive here right now. Kev Chada in 2025. Peterson has career high 162 innings in 24. He pitched what was a career high 121 innings. We can't allow Peterson to pitch more than 4. I mean, the piggybacks, guys. We got to go back to the piggyback situation again. I mean, we're going to have to do it with Peterson, I guess, at this point. And then I don't know. Him and Kodai Senga, is that how we want to do it? Have 4 starts, basically. 1 from Sproat, 1 from McLean. And then you piggyback Minaya and Holmes, and you piggyback Peterson and Senga. I mean, the veterans just have run out of juice. They are out of gas. And we knew Peterson is well over his career innings limit, or his career max innings. But, you know, I figured that this was going to be the year that Peterson really stepped into his own. And for the first half, yeah, he pitched like an ace. He pitched very well. He was our anchor, the guy we could always rely on to not only give us a really good performance for the most part, but go deep into games. And he has just been the exact opposite of that. Again, and I know I sound like a broken record here, 21 earned runs over his last 4 starts, 17 1/3 innings pitched. I mean, more than a run per inning in his last 4 starts. It has just been a slog watching David Peterson, and for it all to unravel there in that top of the 5th inning, where it starts by hitting the 9 batter with a pitch, walking Tatis with 2 strikes, a bunt single to Luis Arias, and then a 3-2 pitch for a grand slam from Manny Machado. Man, it is just brutal. Armand sitting in 136. Look at you, man. You got some nice seats. Have fun, Armand. John Reston, can we sweep the Nats? I said it already, guys. I don't know if the Mets can sweep the Nats, but they better. They better if they want to make the playoffs, because then they go on the road to Chicago. And even though the Mets took 2 out of 3 from the Cubs at Citi Field, that was back in May. That was a different Mets ball club. So the Mets don't have any easy guaranteed dubs on their schedule, because after that, they go to Miami. And we all know how the Marlins play the Mets. The Nationals, at the very least, despite them being a huge pain in the ass when the Mets have gone down to D.C. this season, have been total flops at Citi Field so far in 2025. The Mets have swept them there both times that the Nationals have visited at Citi Field. So it's possible. They've done it twice already this season. They got to do it again. They have got to sweep the Nationals. That would be a huge boost for this team to get those 3 games over this weekend, go into Chicago, hopefully get 2 out of 3, and see where you stand from there. Hopefully, I've said it all the last month and a half, that this season does not come down to the final weekend in Miami, because, my goodness, I'm going to need Valium if that is the case. I cannot handle the Mets' playoff chances coming down to them winning 2 or 3 games in Miami. I simply cannot do it. It will give me flashbacks to 7th grade, getting wedgies and pushed into lockers. I'm kidding. That didn't happen to me. I was probably given the wet. No, I'm just kidding. I wasn't a bully either. My point is, I can't have that happen. We can't have that happen. And it starts by sweeping the Nationals this weekend. So hopefully they're going to get their best pitching performances from the young guns. And they are both lined up to start in Sproat and McLean. So that is the good news. But yes, we are definitely going to need to sweep the Nats. It will go a long way toward helping this team get to the playoffs. Let's see. Kev Chowda, this loss is on Mendy for not having Peterson on a short leash. I mean, yeah, well, a lot of people want to blame Mendy there, but it's one of those things where if he pulls Peterson and he goes to Stanek, or if he goes to Dom Hamill there, everyone gets mad. Why'd you put in Stanek? Why'd you put in Dom Hamill? And then you have no bullpen for tomorrow. So it's like, it's a catch-22, man. Peterson's supposed to be that guy that is going to give you length, that is going to pitch well, and I know he hasn't been lately. So I get there being a little bit of blame, or a little bit of an eye, or finger rather, pointed toward Carlos Mendoza for not giving him the hook. But what is Mendy going to do? It's a lose-lose situation. It's a lose-lose spot there to pull your pitcher after 4 1/3 innings pitched and have to get the final, 17 outs of the game from your bullpen? I mean, it's not economical at all. Let's see. Kipchada, Holmes, Minaya, Peterson, and Singh are all 4 innings pitchers now. They need to be tag teaming. They do, man. They really do. It's crazy. This starting staff has just completely lost all of its energy. They do not have the ability to give you any length at this point, and it is just a trickle-down effect where it hurts the bullpen. The lineup is pressing because they are usually put in a major hole early in these games when the veterans are starting, and it's really making it difficult for them to win. Absol, sorry, Tony, I only call it as I see it. Absol, I understand, man. You are not, there's nothing wrong with your prediction, and honestly, man, I could see it happening. I could, but I hope that's not the case. I'm just trying to will the Mets to the playoffs at this point, but I totally understand your thinking there. Nico says, I think this is he's a talented pitcher, but he's not ready yet. I don't think he has a chance tomorrow. As far as Jonah Tong, I am concerned. This is a obviously very dangerous Padres lineup. Lots of veterans up and down. It's going to be a lot of kind of watching through my fingers tomorrow. I'm concerned about Tong tomorrow, but if he can get through 5 innings, 2 runs, I would be more than satisfied with that from Jonah Tong on Thursday. Give them a chance to win. Give them a chance to put some runs up on Dylan Cease, who they hit pretty well out in San Diego. That grand slam from Mark Vientos, I think they ended up with 5, maybe 6 runs off of Cease in that outing last time out on the West Coast. So give them a chance to win this game. And I think it also goes a long way just toward his own psyche. Hey, he's not going to have one of those 6-run games without getting out of the first inning again like he did his last time out versus Texas. So that is all I'm asking for out of Jonah Tong tomorrow. 5 innings, 2 runs, get him out of there, keep it short, keep it positive. That is what I hope. Let's see, Mark Rapp, I'm already having nightmares knowing the season ends with us going to Miami. That trip will prove we are still the same old Mets. My goodness, man. I really hope not. I really hope the Mets already have it clinched, or if they are in a situation where they only need 1 win over that 3-game weekend and they could just win Friday and then take the rest of the series off. Please, I can't take it coming down to the final game of the season against the Marlins. I just cannot do it again. Not like I did when I was 12 and 13 years old, or however old you are in 7th and 8th grade like I was in 2007 and 2008. 2008. I'm with you, Mark. Kev Peterson, a 7.59 ERA in his last 8 starts. I mean, it's bad. It's bad, and it has only ballooned even more. Like I said, previous 4 starts now, 21 earned runs over 17 and a third innings pitched, man. Peterson has just completely ran out of gas. Kev Chada, there's no way to overcome a manager that doesn't know how to handle this team. I mean, look, hypothetically, what could he have done there in the 5th inning? Again, 1 out, bases loaded. Does he pull him to go to someone else in the 5th inning there? I mean, I am of the mindset, hey, it's a 2-2 game. You didn't use Tyler Rogers last night. You had the off day Monday. You could have went to Tyler Rogers there. I'll give you that. I would not have been opposed to going to Tyler Rogers there with Manny Machado at the plate, bases loaded, 1 out, and it's still 2-2 in the top of the 5th. See what he can do. And if he gets out of that jam unscathed, give him the 6th inning as well. And from there, hey, we'll piece it together. Who knows? The Mets might come back and hit a grand slam of their own in the top half or the bottom half of that inning. You never know, right? So that I will give you. You could have went to Rogers there. You could have went to, one of your more effective relievers where you felt like the game was in the balance in that moment. I don't care how early in the game it was. It's Manny Machado, bases loaded, and it's 2-2. So yes, I will definitely give you that for sure. There are some options that Mendy had. He chose David Peterson, and unfortunately, as it has been so much lately with David Peterson, it was the wrong choice. Kev Chada, we would easily have taken the chance with Buehler, but Philly was smarter. I mean, how he just was able to sign with the Phillies and the Mets didn't think that was a good idea for literally cash. Just signing him to the veteran minimum, I believe, or whatever they call it. Maybe even just the minimum, because he already had a contract with Boston. They would have literally had to give him, I think, basically peanuts to come join this team. How the Mets didn't think that was a good idea to bring Walker Buehler onto this roster when they were so desperate for starting pitching is mind-numbing to me. 100%, man. That is a great call from you, dude. I don't know why the Mets didn't think to do that, Kev. It was stupid. I felt the same way about David Robertson, but here we are, and this is what we have to deal with. Spring says lab leak. Yes, a lab leak in the pitching lab, 100%, man. It sounds like the lab is about to be nuked. Let's see. Primo G Soto's supposed to be protecting the zone at all times, if anything. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you're going from 103 miles per hour from Mason Miller to an 89 mile per hour backdoor slider that absolutely dented the corner. I mean, a perfect pitcher's pitch from Mason Miller to punch out Soto there in the 7th inning. And yeah, it sucks. It's never fun to watch your player go down looking, especially in that kind of a spot. But hard to really get on Juan Soto when we're talking about one of the best pitchers in all of baseball with some nasty, nasty stuff. Kev Chada Stearns is like the New York Jets GM. JD Douglas and Sala was like Mendoza, all inept. Oh my God, man. I actually thought JD was a good Joe Douglas. That's what it was. I actually thought he was a good general manager, but I think he hired the wrong coach, and they obviously drafted the wrong quarterback in Zach Wilson. Don't get me started on the Jets, man. The Mets lost tonight. You want me to talk about the freaking Jets too? Come on. Save that for the weekends. Jeez. Come on. Double dose of reality here. Kev Chada, yeah, it was no risk. That's another Stearns failure in regards to not signing Walker Buehler. 100%, guys. Yeah, I mean, could have had Walker Buehler. Could have had David Robertson. Instead, the Mets went the trade route, and obviously not much of that has paid off. Let's go ahead and listen to what the guys have to say after this one. I do want to hear from Mendy, see if he has anything to say about his decision, or I guess you could say non-decision, to pull David Peterson from this game in the 5th inning. Instead, he stays in and gives up the grand slam. Guys, go ahead and leave this video a like if you've not done that already. Really appreciate it. Helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe if you're not already. Daily Mets content, post-game recap after every Mets game. Let's see. Kev Chada says, do you do jet streams? I am not doing jet streams on this channel, but stay tuned because there's going to be some information coming out about that soon. If you guys haven't seen me on Fireside Mets channel or account on Instagram, and we're also doing some stuff here on Twitter and TikTok, I'm working for them and helping them out with their Mets content, and I'll likely also be helping out on the Jets side of things, maybe some podcasts, maybe some content, stuff like that. So I'll keep you tuned in that as we get a little bit deeper into the football season, and of course as baseball season wraps up. But right now, this of course is my priority, Kev Chada. Let's go over to, I don't know if they posted on this one. No, they posted on the regular SMY channel. It's a tough loss. Guys, sound off in the chat. What do you think? Do you think the Mets are making the playoffs? It's a question I've been asking you pretty much every day now for the last month because it's just been such an up and down ride. But let's go ahead and hear what Carlos Mendoza had to say about the performance from David Peterson tonight.
Games left, and then, you make the playoffs, you're going to have to make some decisions. To what extent do you feel like you can trust him at this point?
Well, I mean, we trust him and all of the guys here, Yeah, we only got, 10 more to go in the regular season here. We need him, he's been a big part of this team, but it's been a struggle for him. But again, we're going to do everything moving forward to put guys in position to help us win baseball games. But we're counting on him.
And just to clarify, he will make his next start.
Oh, yeah.
You've got
Oh, man, guys, nobody told me I was on mute. Thank you, Kevchada. Now I see it. Okay, jeez. I feel like a dummy. Well, anyway, what I was trying to say is who else would they go to other than David Peterson? You heard there at the end of the clip, is David Peterson going to make his next start? And Mendoza basically gave a chuckle and said, yeah, because who else would they go to? They have nobody else. Kodai Senga is still trying to get right in AAA. You have Clay Holmes and Sean Manaea piggybacking off each other. You have the two kids who, are pitching well. Okay, and then you have Jonah Tong, who just gave up 6 runs and failed to get out of the first inning his last time out. So if not David Peterson, who else would they go to? And we noted the ERA of 7.59 since August 6th and the 21 earned runs over his last 4 starts in just 17 1/3 innings pitched. But unfortunately, Mendy doesn't have any other options, and I have gotten on Mendy for a lot of the mistakes he has made, but you also got to point the finger at the general manager, who, one, decided not to trade for a legitimate starting pitcher at the trade deadline, and 2, could have just simply picked Walker Buehler up off the scrap heap after getting released by the Boston Red Sox. Instead, who picks him up but the Philadelphia Phillies, and they go on a really nice little start, or a nice little run with him having a nice start in the middle of all that. So a lot of mistakes there by both sides. Mark Rapp, I'm old. Stop making me think I went I'm sorry, Mark. That's my bad. Sorry, fellas. I had it on mute while we were listening to Mendy talk there, but I'm back. I apologize for that. Here is that quote, I believe. No, it's something else, but it is Juan Soto here. Let's hear what he has to say.
I mean, it's good, but we just didn't accomplish the mission, so it doesn't matter for me right now. We're just trying to win, try to go all the way.
Yeah, obviously. John Reston says maybe the Cubs won't need the games against us. And, that's a good point, John. So let's take a look at the updated wild card standings right now as they sit in the National League. So obviously not a good day for the Mets. They drop a game on the Giants and the Cincinnati Reds. So here's how it currently looks. The Mets have a 1.5 game lead on Arizona. That is their closest competition. Then after that, the Reds are 2 games back and the Giants are 2 games back. We know that the Mets have the tiebreaker over the Giants. They do not have it over the Reds. Cincinnati has it from winning the season series against us. And then Arizona, we split that one 3-3, but the Diamondbacks will get this tiebreaker because they're going to likely finish with a better interdivision record than the Mets will against the NL East opponents. So let's look at the wild card standings in terms of the top 3, of course, including the Mets. The Cubs are the top wild card seed right now. They are 5 games up on San Diego, who are 5 games up on us. So it is possible that after this weekend that the Cubs really don't have to play as hard or put their A lineup or best arms out there against us to maintain that top wild card status. Although, keep this in mind, the Padres go out to Chicago this weekend, but not to play the Cubs. Unfortunately, to play the White Sox. So it's probably going to be 3 easy wins for the Padres this weekend against the Chi Sox. And that might disrupt all of that, John, as you were just saying, that the Cubs will not need to play or have nothing to play for against the Mets this upcoming week. But we shall see. I mean, a 5-game lead is pretty healthy. If the Cubs, go 2 out of 3 and the White Sox get swept by the Padres, they'll still have a 4-game lead, and then maybe they're not exactly pressing their hardest to try to, win every single game instead of getting guys healthy and right for the playoffs. So that is the updated playoff standings as they stand right now. Let's go back over here, hear a couple tidbits. I definitely want to hear from David Peterson. This sounds like it's going to be a long-winded one, but this is just about his recent performance.
What has been the difference here between where you were and the results recently?
I think it's a long year, and we're getting down to the end, and you're going to have games like that, and so I'm not looking too much into it. Trying to take everything I can from each start, going out there every time, trying to give the team the best chance to win, and so yeah, I think you're going to have mixed results throughout the year, but we'll take a look and see what we did well and what needs to be worked on.
Yeah, you guys can probably tell by my face while I was listening to that. I do not like that answer from David Peterson. And at the end of the day, there's no answer he can give me that is going to, inspire me and make me believe that he's going to get back to pitching the way he was in the first half. But he said, we're going to have stretches like this throughout a season and not going to look too much into it. Then finishes it by saying, we're going to look at it and see what changes we need to make. I mean, number one, it was completely contradictory. Number two, this isn't like, 2 bad starts. This is like 6 really poor starts in a row from David Peterson. And on top of that, I'd say probably 12 of his last 15 starts have been really, really ugly. I mean, an ERA over 7.5 over the last month and a half. This is a problem. This is a huge problem. And again, I'm not expecting the guy to say I suck or have the answers for why he has sucked lately. But I didn't love that answer either right there from David Peterson. He has been a huge issue for this team, and he took them completely out of this game. The offense obviously tried to fight back, but it just simply wasn't enough, unfortunately. And a big reason for that is, of course, when you give up a grand slam, when you give up 6 runs in 5 innings as a starter, it's just simply not good enough. Here's what Soto had to say. We saw this comment earlier from one of you guys in the chat.
And then sort of have this one within reach.
We just got to be consistent, try to be consistent a little bit more. Definitely we're still in a good spot, but we got to get going today. We cannot wait for tomorrow, and tomorrow is going to be too late, so we got to get going today, right now.
I mean, Soto's been a gamer down the stretch here. Again, another homer today, ties a career high in a single season. Of course, last year with the Yankees hit 41, so hopefully he will surpass that. They're going to need him to if they want to win some more games here in the final 11. But, Soto's been giving it. I like the at-bats from Lindor today. Obviously, he had a good day yesterday. Pete, home runs. 3 straight games with a home run now for Pete Alonso. He's at 36 on the year. So love to see that from Pete. Been a little bit of a struggle for Nimmo here. He had 2 strikeouts in this one. Not the greatest game from Nimmo. Nearly hit a homer in this game. Just got it off the end of the bat. But the big guys in the lineup, for the most part, have been getting the job done. You've been getting contributions from the other guys. Brett Beatty with a 3-hit game today. Obviously with the home run yesterday as well. But it is the pitching that has really cost this team. As Kev Chada says, the pitching has totally sunk this team 100%. Or I'm sorry, that's Military Mike. Can't take Peterson in this pitching anymore. They completely nuked the season. And it's crazy, man. It's literally a tale of 2 seasons, because you remember those first 2 months, feels like forever ago, back in April and May, where this pitching staff was carrying this limp offense, where they had the best ERA in baseball, where the bullpen was getting the job done. They were setting records of, X amount of games at home without blah, 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 home run, earned run average, the lowest, like all these crazy things. And unfortunately, it just hasn't lasted. And they definitely need to make some additions this offseason. I know that Stearns was going into this season with the expectation of getting the debuts from McLean and from Sproat. and he knew that would help. Unfortunately, I think he obviously waited a little too long for those, and they're kind of paid the price there in the middle months of this season. So it's been rough because you got to keep going with Peterson. You got to keep going with Holmes, Minaya, Senga if he comes back, which it looks like he will here before the end of the regular season. But the veterans have just not been getting the job done for this team at all lately. Kevchad, exactly. Soto got to manage with urgency because tomorrow's too late. 100%, man. It is. Military Mike, with this loss to 24 Mets, we're officially a better team. They had 89 wins. This team won't come close to that. Only team in baseball not to have a ninth inning comeback. Don't even know how that is. I mean, it really is insane, man, that you could enter the ninth inning 65 times now and not once even luck your way into a comeback victory. The only team in baseball without one of those comeback victories when trailing entering the ninth inning. It is brutal, man. It is brutal. And like I said, maybe it's just going to take one of the most crazy, hyperbolic type of comeback wins in the ninth inning, like it happens in the playoffs, or it happens on the final game of the season and it gets them into the playoffs, and that is how they break through that glass ceiling. Maybe that is what it just ultimately is going to take. Sometimes that just is kind of how it goes in sports. I just hope it's not too late. I just really hope it's not too late for this team. Let's go back up here. Peterson again. The Yankees, get that off of my feed here. Let's see what Peterson has to say real quick, and then we're going to preview tomorrow's game and wrap things up here, guys. But appreciate y'all being here. Make sure to leave this video a like. Go ahead and do that right now if you've not done so already. Appreciate everybody commenting.
Month or so. Just how difficult is it on you emotionally?
I mean, it's obviously tough, when you know what you're capable of, and like I said, you're going to go through times where it's not going exactly how you want it to, whether it's baseball or whether it's something that you're not necessarily executing, but you can't hold on to it. Like I said, look at it as objectively as possible and correct the things that need to be worked on and move forward.
All right, man, whatever. A whole lot of nothing. It's a nothing burger, as it usually is from these players after a rough game like that. But, I mean, just not good enough, and it continues to not be good enough for David Peterson, and he really didn't give the Mets much of a chance to win this game, although the offense did their best to climb back into it. Unfortunately, all those home runs come in the form of solo shots. You couldn't get anybody on base in front of those. It might be a different ball game if that's the case, but a grand slam there in the fifth after you start the inning with an out, you start the inning by plunking the 9-hitter in the lineup, walking Tatis with 2 strikes, a bunt single. It's a bad look. It's a really rough way for that 5th inning to go down, as you see that big ugly number 4 there. But final score here, 7-4, you guys. Let's take a look. Actually, I'm sorry, I meant to go to tomorrow's game so that we can preview the pitching matchup of Jonah Tong and Dylan Cease. As I mentioned, guys, the Mets did face off. Oh, well, look at that. It was supposed to be Dylan Cease, but I guess maybe they mixed their lineup up instead, the rotation. So instead, it's going to be Randy Vasquez pitching for the Padres. So I'm just catching wind of this right now, actually. I thought we were going to be facing Cease, who, like I said, out in San Diego, the Mets were able to get a couple of runs off of Mark Vientos at a grand slam. I think they may have scored 5 or 6 runs off of him in a rather short start. So this is interesting. I wonder why this is the case, but Vasquez is a right-hander, 3.72 ERA over 24 starts this year. He had 1 relief appearance as well. So not a strikeout guy, that is for sure. Only 71 over 123 in a 3rd innings pitch. Let's check out his game log, see the last time that he did make a start. That was actually, yes, last week, September 11th. 6 innings, a shutout ball, but it was against the Rockies, so I'm not going to put too much into that. His previous start before that, also 6 against the Rockies, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. Before that, against the Dodgers, gave up 2 earned runs over 3 2/3 innings pitched. So was not expecting this year, guys, but it is Randy Vasquez instead of Dylan Cease tomorrow. So Kevchad says, baseball gods put David Robertson and Buehler in our lap, but Stearns only wants to do it in his rigid plan. I understand that criticism for sure. I mean, you could have just went out, signed those guys for money, and it's an easy, hey, it didn't work out, you DFA them, or hey, they're just not going to come and pitch for the big league team. But Instead, David Stearns decided that he knew better, and clearly that was not the case because those guys are performing pretty well for Philadelphia, and the Mets are scrounging for some pitching. And, of course, we know Jonah Tong making his 4th career start now. The first one went decent, 5 innings against the Marlins, got his first big league win, followed that up in Cincinnati on the road where he got bombed for 3 home runs. The Mets would lose that game. It was the second game of that series with the Reds, and then, of course, followed it up his last time out on Friday against the Rangers where he could not get out of the first inning. 6 earned runs, although we've talked about it. Some soft contact in that inning, was just a strike away from escaping it unscathed. Unfortunately, the ball just kept bouncing in and finding a way to find some grass there against Tong, and it was a tough one, of course. So hopefully a bounce back. Like I said, guys, all I'm looking for out of Jonah Tong tomorrow, give us 5 innings, 2 runs. Keep this offense in this game. Don't take the energy out of the lineup or out of the ballpark. It's a Thursday afternoon game. Hopefully the kid can just go out there, have some fun with it, and the Mets can take 2 out of 3, get the rubber game of this series with the Padres. But, guys, appreciate y'all being here. Leave this video a like. Go ahead, do that now if you've not already. It's a bad loss for the Mets, unfortunately, tonight. Every loss right now is a bad loss, no matter how it goes down, because they need as many wins as they can get here down the stretch. But I like the fight I saw from this team, and hopefully they'll carry the big sticks into tomorrow's finale with the Padres. So go ahead, subscribe if you're not already. Daily Mets content, post-game recap after every Mets game. That's going to do it here for tonight, but we'll be right back tomorrow afternoon after the finale with San Diego. So be sure to keep it tuned here to my channel. Until then, though, guys, I am Tony Metro. Stay true to the orange and blue.